When I was studying my master's, I had to study personality disorders, and I was supposed to present paranoid personality disorder. I don't remember if I picked it or it was random, but when I was studying that, I said, okay, that is me. That's me. And since then, it shone a light on me for the way I see things. And I'm gonna read to you paranoid personality description. The essential diagnostic feature of PPD is a persistent interpretation of the intent of others as malicious, coupled with an array of distrust and suspiciousness. That is totally me. And it's not like you think like somebody's plotting against you, although it could be. But it's more like if somebody spits on the street, you take it as a personal offense. There's basically a lot of personalization. So that was really interesting. But the other day I was listening to a talk, and the doctor said that for her, personality disorder should be called hypersensitivity disorder. And I've been called that, but I kind of always deny that because it's like, okay, I'm not sensitive. But I guess in a way it's true. We see, I mean, I don't have the personality disorder, but I have some characteristics. So we see offense where there's not. And lately for the last few years I've been studying stoicism, and it says that never assume malice when ineptitude could explain it. So I try to do that. It's hard for me, but I try to do it, and I've been doing better. But the point is that today I was actually thinking about false positives and how the human. I actually started to think about rituals and superstitions because I started reading a book called Fooled by Randomness. And we as a species, probably all species, we need and we like to find patterns. The sun rise because we dance, or it rain because we dance, stuff like that. So that's how our brains work. We are designed to assume a connection when there's not because it's useful most of the time and it's not that costly. The example is that imagine you're walking in the savannah and you hear a bush move. You can't think that there's the wind and, well, there's a lion, so you are gone. Or you can assume that it's a lion when it was a wind. And, well, you get scared, you run, and that's it. So it's much less costly to make false positives. And that's actually how we're wired, not just for that, for everything. Like, if you think about it, like, there's this book called Good Reasons for Bad Feelings, and that is anxiety. Anxiety, it's a over assumption of threat because we're gonna get scared, but we're gonna survive. So our brains still think that we're in the savannah and we have to assume everything is dangerous. So some people are more sensitive by that. So in a way, I guess paranoid personality disorder, it's that in a social context. It makes sense now that I think about it. And, well, you gotta think about context. I remember many, many years ago when I was just starting to study about evolution. I was at a yoga class, and at the end of the practice, they put you in savasana, I think it's called. So you just lay there. And at the time, I didn't know anything about mindfulness. They just tell you, like, follow your breath or whatever. And I used to use that time to really think deeply. And I think I thought some interesting stuff. But I remember one time I was trying to explain to myself shyness. And this is going to sound kind of dumb, but I thought, okay, maybe shyness is a defense for women, for men not to approach them, something like that. Of course, that's stupid because that's not how adaptations work. But I kept at it for some time, and then I came to the realization. I mean, maybe this is obvious now, but this was more than 10 years ago. That shyness is kind of actually a defense for the men. You're gonna be shy if you perceive yourself as being weak, as being less, I guess, low status. And shyness is a way to protect you from approaching a woman and being rejected and humiliated, so you could get like branded as not wanted, and also not being attacked by a higher status male. So that also explains why some people say like, oh, I'm quiet at first, but then I won't stop talking. And its context is the same thing. The people that are like that, they perceive themselves as weak, unconsciously maybe, and they perceive others as dangerous. So I actually remember when I had this realization too, entering into my classroom, and it came to my mind. Imagine like you're a Homo sapiens 100,000 years ago, entering into a new tribe. Well, of course you're gonna be shy. You're gonna be repressed because you need to lay low. You need to be humble and try to assess if people are gonna attack you, if they're gonna want you. And once your brain learns that okay, this is safe, then you can relax and you can be yourself. So that's what happens. And there's people that are not shy at all because their brain has learned that they're strong, that they're high status, so they don't need to be shy. They're not afraid of rejection. They're not afraid of pressing the wrong buttons. And this could be totally wrong because in this modern environment it doesn't work like that. But yeah, that's interesting. So if you perceive yourself as low status, which I maybe I learned that that's why I am paranoid. I always thinking people are there to harm me. And look, I can listen to that voice and try to unhook for it, not follow it, not totally follow it, but it's there because once I deal with people, I I stop that. But my and actually I am for years I've been proud of my mantra like nobody gives anything for free, which is true. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And I had another one. I guess if you assume ill will, you will be right. Something like that. But anyway, I think this could be a good video that I could polish, maybe. So, bye.